Hey everyone, welcome to Chapter 5, Section 3, Dividing Polynomials with Synthetic Division. In this section, we're going to do synthetic division and long division, but this video is obviously synthetic division. So let's just talk about what that means. So it's a shortcut for dividing polynomials by binomials in the form of x minus k, meaning something that looks like this, x minus a number or x plus a number, okay? And so when it says x minus k, just basically flip the sign. So if you're dividing by x minus 2, then k is 2. If it says you're dividing by x plus 2, then k is negative 2, all right? If the leading coefficient's not 1, then you must divide by the leading coefficient to turn the leading coefficient into 1. So if you're dividing by 3x minus 1, you'd need to divide it over, and then it'd become x minus 1/3. Same thing with 2x plus 7, that would become x plus 7 over 2. We're really not going to get into it, but I just thought I'd point it out. And then it says it will only work for a degree of 1, meaning you can divide by something that says like x minus 2. But if I said divide by x squared minus 2, you'd have to do long division. So if synthetic division is not going to work, you have to do long division. That would be the only other way to do it. That being said, let's just get started with example 1. So I have negative x to the third plus 4x squared plus 9 divided by x minus 3. So the important thing to do is to make sure you have everything written out, and it counts down perfectly, your powers do. So I'm going to throw in a plus 0x. Okay, and the reason why I'm going to do that is because when you do your synthetic division, you just need the coefficients. So I'm going to write down a negative 1, a 4, a 0, and a 9. If you don't put that 0 there, it's going to screw everything up, unfortunately. And so you're dividing by x minus 3, right? And so what is k going to equal when you have x minus 3? So just flip the sign. K is going to equal 3. So what you do is I've written down my coefficients, and then I'm going to draw this L looking thing. I'm just going to put a 3 right there. So let me walk you through this. The first number always carries down. So I'm going to write negative 1. And then what you're going to do is you're going to times it by the outside number. So you're going to go, what's negative 1 times 3? That's going to be negative 3. All right? And then what you got to do now is add those two together. So I got, that's going to be positive 1. So what's 1 times 3? Well, 3 times 1 is 3. And 0 plus 3 is 3. And 3 times 3 is 9. And 9 plus 9 is 18. Okay? So I'm going to stop right there. And then I'm just going to quickly recap what we just did. The first number carries down. And then what you do out here is multiplying. So I'm multiplying this number times that number, okay, every time, and then the result will go here. All right, and then you just add it, okay? So that being said, what does this negative 1, 1, 3, 18 mean? Well, for starters, the last number is always going to be the remainder, okay? So if the last number is ever 0, you're not going to have a remainder. And then the rest of the problem is your resulting equation, your quotient, I should say. And it's always going to count down by a power. So you started with something to the third power. So my answer is going to have something to the second power. So I'm going to write down negative x squared plus x plus 3. See, I'm writing down negative 1, a 1, a 3, and then what do I do with this 18? That's going to be plus 18 over, and what were you dividing it by? x minus 3. Don't write a 3. Write down the original thing you were dividing by. So x minus 3. And then that is the final answer. Okay? So synthetic division is a little weird, but in the presentation of it, but it's really quick. So if you think you got the hang of it, why don't you try example 2? So pause the video, and then if you don't, just keep watching. Okay, so I wrote my coefficients. This is a 1x to the third, negative 2x squared, negative 9x, and then an 18. And then I flipped the sign, so k is negative 3, so I put a negative 3 on the outside. And then you bring the first number down, and then remember, you're multiplying. So what is 1 times negative 3? That is going to be negative 3. What is, so what's negative 2 plus negative 3? Negative 5. What is negative 5 times negative 3? That's positive 15. What's negative 9 plus 15? That's going to be a 6. So what is 6 times negative 3? That's going to be negative 18. So what's negative 18 plus 18? That's 0. So you have no remainder. The last number is always going to be the remainder. And then, like I said, it's just going to go down by a power. So you had x to the third, so my answer is going to start with x to the second. So I have x squared minus 5x plus 6. Final answer. That's it. Okay? Took me about a minute to do. So, yeah, it's pretty quick once you get the hang of it. So let's talk about evaluating with synthetic division. So it says evaluate this problem when x equals negative 4. So what you can do is plug it in, but that's not evaluating it with synthetic division. So I'm actually going to plug it in to check my work in a little bit. But right now is I'm going to do the synthetic division. So let's check. Do I have power of 3, power of 2, power of 1, power of 0? Just check to make sure everything counts down perfectly, because if it doesn't, you'll need to throw in a 0x or 0x squared, something like that, a placeholder. Okay, so start this synthetic division like normal. Write down the coefficients of your numbers, okay? So I wrote down 5, negative 1, 13, and 29, okay? Now what do you do with that x minus 4? You know how we flip the sign up here with the k stuff? Well, if you're evaluating, you don't flip it, okay? So you're just going to write negative 4. So maybe that's a note worth writing down. Like, don't flip the sign when you're evaluating. Okay, so I made a little note of it there. That being said, let's get back to work on this. Okay, so bring down the first number, and that's 5. So what's 5 times negative 4? Negative 20. What's negative 20 plus negative 1? Negative 21. What's negative 21 times negative 4? That's going to be positive 84. And then what's 13 plus 84? That's going to be 97. So we got a big number here. What's 97 times negative 4? And that's going to be negative 388. All right. So what's 29 plus negative 388? And so you have negative 359. All right. So like I said, I brought down the front number, and then you're timesing it, and then all these are added together right here. So that bottom number multiplies by that number. All right. And then okay, sorry, getting off track, just kind of trying to recap and lost my train of thought. What is the answer? The answer is this, negative 359. Okay, so that's it. Like, the remainder is your answer. How do you check your work? Let's just plug it in. So here I have it plugged in. I substituted negative 4 everywhere I saw x in the function, and then type it in, and you get the answer is negative 359. So that means we did it correctly. All right, so why would you want to use this? I'm going to be completely honest. I don't really know. But that's how you do it. When you're evaluating with synthetic division, you use synthetic division, you get the answer. Maybe it's quicker than, when you have really big numbers. I could see that. When you have really big numbers and you don't have a calculator, this is actually quicker, okay? Because it's easier to just multiply a couple of small numbers together rather than doing you have a long equation and doing all this. That's the only thing I could really think of. But other than that, this video is over. And so if you're one of my students, hey, take this exit quiz, okay? And make sure you show your work, all right? Other than that, I hope this video helps. Stay tuned for the long division notes, and thanks for watching. Bye.